If there's one thing I despise in games, it's dying when there's nothing you could have done to stop it. Whether it be from a glitch or some poor design, taking away the skill when attempting to avoid damage can lead to some very frustrated players. The whole point for me when getting killed in a game is to come back the next time with a takeaway. What did I learn? How can I avoid this outcome in the future? Or maybe even just why am I so bad at video games? You may still feel frustrated after getting killed, but having the ability to improve and know what you did wrong is important. If you find yourself dying over and over again, and all you can do is sit there and watch while your character gets taken advantage of by the broken parts of the game, well, that's when it becomes a real problem. I'm Dreambot, and on this episode of Feature Shaming, I'll be talking about Lost Planet's knockdown animation. Lost Planet is a third-person shooter taking place on a snow-filled world, where you must collect T-energy from killed enemies and the environment in order to stay warm on this ice-filled planet. You'll spend your time killing some bad guys, killing some giant monsters and mechs, and making your way through the generic story. Before I start shaming this game, let's start with a positive. For a game released in the first month of 2007, it still looks good. I mean, just look at this ice worm worming around, doing worm things. It's great! The actual gameplay in Lost Planet can be pretty fun at times as well. Boss fights have always been one of my favorite features in games, and Lost Planet has a bunch of larger-than-life bosses to take out. But it's with these big bugs and robots where my main gripe is found the most. When you get hit by an explosive or a giant mantis mandible in Lost Planet, you get knocked down. Sure, sounds reasonable. Big damage warrants a big reaction. By the time you get back up from the initial knockdown, another rocket has sent you tumbling all over again. This is what is referred to as stun locking, something popularized by World of Warcraft but can be seen in lots of other games as well. It is usually attributed to poor game design and is mostly seen as a bad feature, unless you're the one using it. The stun locking in Lost Planet resulted in almost every single one of my deaths in the campaign. Needless to say, this was incredibly annoying and impacted my enjoyment of the rest of the game. I get knocked down, but I get up again, and I'm never gonna keep you down. I get knocked down, but I get up again, and I'm never gonna keep you down. The reason stun locks happen so often in this game can be attributed to two reasons: the length of the knockdown animation, and almost every enemy being able to cause a knockdown. Let's take a look at the first reason. In this clip, I'll show you the time it takes from when our character gets hit to when control is given back to the player, and also how long it takes this mech to reload and fire a second rocket. So as you can see, it takes less time for the mech to reload and fire a second rocket than it does for me to gain control again after being knocked down. In fact, the mech is so quick that it's too early. I'm still in my frames of invincibility from the recovery, so the rocket it fired just doesn't do any damage. If the mech was half a second slower like many other cases, it would have knocked me right back on my butt again. The fact that it can be too fast to even stun lock me is ridiculous. Now there are some easy solutions to this problem. Either lengthen the time between enemy attacks that cause knockbacks, or shorten your long-ass knockdown animation. Maybe even add a quick button prompt that when pressed makes you spring up onto your feet. Anything is better than having to wait until your character decides to stop doing snow angels. Now let's take a look at reason 2. Every enemy in this game can cause a knockdown. Regular enemies, mechs, rockets, and regular machine guns. Monsters, bigger monsters, tiny little drones. One time literally the air decided it had enough of me. It's too much. Not only does this lead to stun locking, it also makes bigger enemies feel insignificant because they have the same impact as even normal dudes. It would have saved me a lot of grief if knockdowns were limited to just the bosses in this game. It also doesn't help that the dodge in this game is just a stupid rockstar jump, and the grapple animation is pretty much as long as the knockdown animation, so your means of avoiding these stun locks are even more limited. Taking away player control in a medium all about being able to freely control a character is a bad idea. Just don't do stuff like this. I would have had a pretty good time with this game if it weren't for the extra half hour I spent lying down. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers. Hold up. Look at this fucking auto aim for a second. Look at this shit. Watch. Look at, what the f— oh my god. New video incoming, guys.